Health News is brought to you by Dynamic Physical Therapy. Call us today to set up a free 15-minute screening with a physical therapist.
Launching a high-performance snowmobile at top speed over a jump isn't everyone's idea of a relaxing weekend. But for one area man, it's all in a day's work. Unfortunately, the extreme sport of snowcross also led to an extreme injury.
I broke my fibula and tibia in Minneapolis racing snowcross in January. I just landed really hard off a jump, and I wear knee braces, and I think my knee brace did its job. Instead of letting my knee hyperextend, it just broke my leg right at the end of the knee brace. So it was actually a compound fracture, so the bone came through the skin a little bit, and so it was a pretty good one at least.
Jake GEESEMAN is a national-level snowcross rider who pushes his sled and his body to their limits. A traumatic leg break forced Jake off of his snowmobile, but physical therapy helped him regain his competitive edge.
When I first started walking, it was a pretty ugly walk. Like, I had a pretty decent limp, and so here they've been working on my ankle movement and just getting my my walk corrected first before we start doing too much more advanced stuff. And it's come a long way. I don't even walk with much of a limp anymore.
The health professionals that Jake has worked with have been extremely impressed with his progress and say that physical therapy played a major role in his recovery.
His recovery so far has been spectacular. We still expect a little bit of a limp at this point, but Jacob is ambulatory independently. What we consider community distances are those of 250 feet or greater. He's ambulating those very well, very thoroughly, still with a little bit of a limp, but at this stage of the game, he's very much ahead of progress.
MAZZA is a therapist with Dynamic Physical Therapy. He says that a proactive approach, which means starting the recovery process sooner rather than later, is one of the main reasons that patients are able to recover at a fairly fast pace.
I call it being assertive. Being aggressive is one term, but being assertive is being on top of it, being early. Not so much aggressive in terms of amplitude and force of recruitment and force of initiation of rehabilitation, but being assertive in that we're frequent and we're consistent with the right things, the cautious things, the things that are appropriate for that person's particular injury to help for a better, bigger picture recovery.
Jake's dramatic leg injury was fairly unique, but people with other types of problems can also benefit from physical therapy. Unfortunately, however, many people instead try to recover from injuries all on their own.
The downside to that approach is that it's a much more conservative approach, and some people will opt for that approach. However, it does yield a rather large, bigger picture, if you will, in terms of recovery, and that the person may delay walking, may delay range of motion, and henceforth delay their overall function for a substantial period of time, up to sometimes even a year or greater, which a lot of times with a complicated fracture is a normal window of recovery to full return to normal function. So the benefits of being early aggressive are that we are able to initiate the appropriate mechanics, the appropriate weight-bearing techniques, and the appropriate safe levels of activity that can actually make for a more efficient recovery long-term.
And Jake credits that long-term approach to physical therapy as one of the keys to getting back to doing what he loves.
The physical therapy definitely helped a bunch. I know I definitely wouldn't be doing the level of workouts that I am without it. So pretty glad that I decided to come here and has been able to work with Aaron. It's helped a lot.
For My News 26, I'm Kayla Kiley.